I don't think anyone can disagree that this is a gorgeous sounding synthesizer, and I'm thinking that I would like to make a video about it, speaking about the long-term use and doing some sounds on it. I'm personally very, I do enjoy hybrid synthesizers very much. In fact, I do prefer the hybrids way more many times than just only the analog ones, because you can, the programming goes way beyond. You go above, so you have so much that you can program. And this synthesizer is, of course, I guess one of the that's really hard to get if you don't want to pay too much money. The keyboard version is absolutely gorgeous in the design. It was a design that I didn't like so much in the beginning, but it was growing on me because it's quite unique. Of course, this should be like the reincarnation of PPG with some better things. And what I like about this synthesizer is that this is a passionate project from the ones creating it, Bob Cover and Andrew Silver, and all the rest. I guess there are some other involved, I believe, but I'm not so much sure about the company, the Groove Synthesis. And speaking about the passionate project, you can see it very clearly on this synthesizer. You have 24 voices, you have 3 digital oscillators, you have 4 LFOs, you have a crazy modulation matrix that is making so much possibility to create endless possibility of sound creation. You have 2 envelopes, auxiliary ones, beside having the amplitude and the filter envelope. 2 effect slots, 4 parts, and you can layer, stack, and you can, have it in multi-timbrality. You have pan spread, you have a wave surfer knob, you have an envelope for the to walk in the wave offset when walking the wavetable, and you have Prophet 5 filter, you have the digital state variable filter. And don't get me wrong, even if this one here is a digital one in a series with the analog Prophet 5 filter, this one serves a really good purpose, that you can shape the sound a little bit extra at the end, or even pull out some nice harmonics with it. And what's so special about this PPG sound is that you have, of course, the PPG waveforms. So typical PPG. And you also have modern waveforms. You can make the more classic sound, you can make more modern sounds, and I find this machine to be very unique. And what's good today is that you're not limited to buy this full-blown keyboard version that has all the stuff. You can get even module for a little bit extra cheaper price, or you can get an 8-voice version of a module, which can play the same sound but has some limitation regarding the multi-timbrality, and the voices is 8 voices, but it can do so. I think it's an amazing approach to make this third wave accessible for more users. And what I like about it is that the users getting the module can also use the sounds from this machine if there are sounds released. So this pad sound is based on 3 digital oscillators, and I'm using the envelope to walk the wavetable, and using the filter with envelopes to shape it a bit, and using like one oscillator to a bit detune to make it a detunation over the time with an envelope to make it change a bit. So you can make so many variations with it. And I guess that I'm using an LFO also for something. Yes, I did. LFO1 is controlling the first oscillator's destination. And I can describe this synth, I really don't like to hype things up that's how it is, because I'm so tired of watching videos where everything is the best, things like that. But I want to touch on what's more relative, If I could only pick one synthesizer in the studio, that should be a hardware one, and using VST as the rest. I guess that it's a no-brainer that this is the most unique one, that no VST can, there is no VST that can sound like this, And so for that reason, also that it's so much joy to program, because you have so many knob functions. So program-wise, it's super fun. It's you can make so many sounds on it. They are unique. Some perhaps do not prefer, I guess, the PPG sound. Some do like. So it's a matter of taste, but I really like this one. This fell into my taste very well. That's just one waveform. I was walking the wave offset there. I only have like one big wish on this synthesizer, because I'm a lazy person. And I would like that you could take and copy the settings from one oscillator and paste it very quick to the other one, because I'm lazy. And it's because sometimes I like to put like some of the same type of oscillators, or I should say waveforms in this case, and it would make my life so much easier for programming. Else everything is a complete dream for me here, and I can show you some examples. So for example, let's say that I want to start out with one wave here. When I take Wavetable, I can select between different wavetables, and they sound so different. And also in the new firmware, you should be able to load samples as well, I guess. But I'm not so much into samples, so for me, I'm more into the wavetable stuff. But it's cool that you can do that. Let me check my list of wavetable notes that I've been checking. So I want to. Okay, in my list, I've been looking. User 43 yesterday was my one that I was interested in, because I was writing that this ARP sounded a bit creamy, I guess, and nice. So let's say that we want to use this single waveform and make a cool ARP. And we can record a sequence very quick. Let's see. And we can add some quantization. And that's how quick you record something here, and it's super nice. I can also change it so it can transpose, for example. I think we keep that on. And now what I want to do is to change the filter a bit. And let's say cut off. And we need to have some envelope going on. Let's have some fun here. Already it's a nice sound. Let's play this. I have some delay on, you might notice, and that's what I want, so we keep it. And we haven't even been touching the resonance yet. It has bass compensation, so it's not removing the low frequencies when I change the resonance. And if you didn't know, that's a Prophet 5 filter. That's what you want. No saturation yet, but I can saturate it. Now we're speaking. Getting aggressive here. Yeah, this synth, what I love to use it for is that when I make some music that is more like, imagine like a landscape, like futuristic. It's you know, cyber things. You know, a city that with neon lights. That's how I feel the sound. It's like future, sci-fi. I love it. We can add some reverb. And when you have the keyboard version, you have so good control over these effects because that's how it is. They added so many knobs for that. Of course, on the modules, you have the control, but you have like, here you have dedicated 2 ones instead of just having 1, I guess, on the module. I'm not quite sure, but I think it's something like that. Let's... Cool. You know, these type of sounds, well, I'm very weak to. I love these ones. You know, it's dark and arriving. And notice that now we just having 1 waveform here. We can add up some more here. And I wonder which one we should take now. There are so many, you know. And guess I can turn it down. Perhaps it was way too much, right? Can turn it up. Do something now. I want to add one auxiliary envelope. Of course, we have envelope that is dedicated for this, but I want to use this one to control the wavetable offset. So let's assign it. And assigning thing is super easy. I mean, look at that. I just press and hold the button and turn the knob, and voila, we have it. And I think that we should increase the amount it controls. And I go with the classical one. Perhaps it starts and rise and fall, I mean. We need some release time. Let's see if this works. With, without, with. So it's basically walking the wavetable now with an envelope. Without reverb. Let's add some pan spread. Now it's in the stereo field. Okay, without delay. This is how it sounds raw. So that's something I find quite interesting, that on a third wave they sound so good even without effects. What's super interesting is that sometimes I really forgot that I don't have any effects on sometimes because it has such a unique sound. And perhaps we should try the digital filter in this case. I'm sorry if you have to listen to the same, you know, repeating notes, but that's what I can offer today. Okay, low pass. So what this can offer you is that now we have the profile filter having resonance and cutoff. Imagine that you want to have it like that character of the sound like this. Or even more envelope amount. But you want the sound to disappear a bit, you know, in the background and come back. So what we can do is, of course, using this filter, we can have it like, not sure how much shot it should be. We close it there. And now we go to the fantastic modulation matrix and take source, and we have mod wheel, and I want to hold a destination and assign it to the cutoff here. I'm going to increase the amount here. Let's see if I can reach a good balance here. A little bit more filter. And there we have it. Because now the filter is not all the way shut, but a bit. And that means that you will hear a little bit. But the more we open the filter with the mod wheel, because in the mod matrix it's like this. The source is the mod wheel. And the amount we increase here will affect this cutoff. So if it plays in the background, you can open it. Let's see how the resonance sounds on this one. Can grab some harmonics. Perhaps you want to have a high pass filter. And remember that we are on 2 waveforms now. You have 3 one if you want to add a third one also. Notch filter. And yeah, things like that. So that was just one sound of so many that we can make. We start from scratch again. Remember that when you do initialize a program on the third wave, it will give you so much more added parameters that you're not accustomed to on regular synthesizers. So what I did was that I added my preset how I wanted it to be initialized and then saved it as an init path. And I'm using it from my flavor of how I want it to be. So let's take a wavetable. We take a modern one, so we're not staying on the PPG. And we go down 1 octave. And what's nice is that you can activate the wave envelope. So over the time, the wavetable will be scanned. When you press the key, you hear. So you don't have to listen to this all the time. So it will be varying over time. And you can do some cool things with it. Really basic sounds I'm making, but you can do really useful sounds on it. And so another wavetable could be this one's a little bit cool, like metal. And one thing I forgot to say, what I think can be important, is that if you're not accustomed to wavetable synthesis, I think it's important to know that when you're on a wavetable synth, it's very easy that we are forgetting to use our low-pass filter. And when we do that, it can tend to become a little bit, in the upper frequencies because it's a G oscillator or wavetable. And for that reason, I recommend that you try to adjust the filters a bit to get it a little bit close, unless you want to have it very high in the frequencies. It's not a bad thing, it's a matter of taste, but sometimes we tend to like to listen to lower frequencies rather than have it full open. So full open, a bit closed. And because I read some how to call it, some reviews from people that bought the synthesizer. Some has been like, okay, not many, but like one that were saying that it was too much in the high frequency, but that's how it is with the hybrid sometimes. And we just close the cutoff a bit, and it's how it works. So nothing wrong with that. That's just a pro tip. And this is good, you know. This metallic sound, when I just close the cutoff and just add some envelope amount, you feel how plucky, percussive it becomes? And just imagine if I add much more feedback on the delay. Can create some cool effects. Nice sounds. And we have the saturation knob if you want to drive the audio path harder into the filter, I should say the wavetables. So without, with some saturation. Some reverb. I really like that this synth can go to the higher frequencies. Listen to this. And still, it's important to say that we are only on one wavetable. So if I add another one, I think we can make even crazier sound. Let's see which one we should take. So now we have two wavetables. And, you know, just scratching on the surface right now, I mean, this synth can do so much more. But sometimes we don't need to make super complex sound. I mean, you can make simple sounds. Often, simple sounds tends to be fitting much better in the mix or in the music, I've noticed. And, you know, to describe how I feel when I use the synth is that in the beginning, I'm not going to lie, in the beginning, it's sort of a threshold before you get your mindset into wavetable synthesis if you're not accustomed to it. But it's not a big threshold to get over. But once you're on the threshold and it's opened up so many new things that you can do, because regular analog waveforms tend to become a little bit bread and butter, you know, every day. I don't say that it's something wrong with them, but it's we heard them so many times, and sometimes it's really good to have a wavetable. And a digital filter can also act as a bandpass filter if you want by triggering this button. And so, I mean, this little nice digital filter is really offering the little bit extra that we need sometimes to shape the sound. Because once we are getting more accustomed to creating sounds, I've noticed that to have an extra filter in the end stage really helps to adjust things that we might think can be a little bit like perhaps we're getting too much low frequencies or too much high frequencies, or that we want to close it a bit over time. So that's a really helpful thing to have on a synth. And I like that on the keyboard version you have this wave surfer at hand, so you can change all the offset of all the wavetables on the fly like this. So what it does is that if you imagine that the wavetable is a table with waveforms that you can scan through over the time, and so this is, you're walking the table manually with this knob, and you have a nice reset button here, and you reset. And you know, if I should say something of interest, is that this is a passionate project they made for one reason, for many reasons, but I mean that if you put the button for resetting your wave surfer, I mean, it's good stuff. I mean, you imagine taking the decision like, we add a button that will add cost to the synthesizer, but we believe so much in this synth that we add an extra button that could be perhaps something in the menu, but we want to have it to make the synth fun, you know, and accessible. Great work. I mean, I'm super impressed from the team, you know, Bob Cover and the rest designing this one. I'm super impressed. This is, without hyping, I mean, this is absolutely the synth of the year, many years forward. I love this one. But I'm going to tell you that I'm a bit, you know, weak to wavetables. I love wavetables. It's so fun. So I'm reaching my maximum recording time on my camera right now. I only have 1 minute at disposal. All the sounds I made is only scratching the surface. Really, this machine has so much potential. I mean, you can do so much with it, and it's, as long as you like the character of it, you can't go wrong. I mean, this is a synth that you will love as long as you like the sound and the character of it, and it, I mean, you have so much possibility, so what's not to love with it? Of course, I have many synths I love, but this one, I love it extra. So thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.